Well, hello everyone, it's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike and I do bees. It is March 1st. Welcome to Southeast Louisiana. Folks, it's March 1st. Wow, the beekeeping season is really going to start now for me. We'll call this the official start because it is time to go through some colonies. It's a beautiful day. It's in the mid 50s right here, right now. The weird thing about our weather right now is it's in the mid 30s in the evenings. So it starts cooling off after sunset and it stays cold where it's kind of almost clustering. Well, it is clustering all the way up until about 9 a.m. Sun's up high, warms up, and this is every day now. So even though that's the case, there's still at least 10, 12 hours of good actual time for these bees to move around and then to get out and fly. So they're moving, they're growing, everybody's seeing lots of brood, there's a lot of buildup. So we're gonna go assess these bees on this beautiful day. So rather than going into detail, let's just get busy. Folks, getting ready to open this one up, and you see so if you've just joined me in the recent month or two, you see I don't wear gloves a lot in those videos, but when it comes to getting into these things in the spring and summer when bee populations are getting big, especially now since they haven't been opened, I usually wear gloves. Now I don't wear nitro gloves, I hate these things, but I'm going to do some extended release oxalic acid, and it will absolutely, oxalic acid vapor, and when you get that powder on you and you're sweating and all that, or any kind of acid will eat your gloves up. Like they eat my goatskin gloves up, so I don't want to ruin my gloves. So I'm using these for now. I don't usually do a spring treatment, but I want to do oxalic acid extended release because it is one of the organic compounds. I've never really used amitraz ever, so this is the first one. I'm gonna bring you along for sure on the first one. Not every single, we got 40 colonies to go through. I'm not gonna do all of them with you, but let's just look at the first one. I don't know what to expect on most all of them. The only ones I've even seen the inside of has been the ones I've put fondant on. So in the drone layer we went through, I'll show you that. I will video. We're gonna fix that today. And so anyway, let's just see what we got. I don't know what we're gonna find this time of year. I smelled something funky walking by the other stand. Do we have, this time of year it's still very, very wet. Chances of European foul brood are good. I did not make my tea tree eucalyptus / camphor pads like I was going to. Didn't work out, but what we're gonna see for the first time is what you're gonna see for the first time. So I don't know who's dead or alive. I don't know who's weak. So we're just gonna look, and what we're doing is assessments. So we're gonna see what we're looking like, who's growing. We're gonna pull frames. This is full of honey, that's why I'm going ahead and pulling it off. There's drone brood, which we expect to see this time of year. Always like to look and see if those slimy little mites are in there. That's a nice, for the beginning of March, that's not bad. I mean, it's not good, but it's not dying, it don't look like. So also I bring a bucket this time of year. All the burr comb I saved, y'all have heard me, comb is gold. I always bring a bucket out. I got a lot of goodies with me. I'm gonna do some mite checks on some high population colonies so I can monitor the treatment I'm putting on the few that I'm gonna put them on. So it's kind of a slow, take your time kind of day. I'm not gonna get in a super big hurry. I'm happy to be back in the bees for real. And I hope they're not too ornery, because this time of year they're usually pretty rough. As far as beetle traps, I mentioned those. What we're going to do with beetle traps is I'm going to only put them in the ones I see high infestations. Usually in the spring you see a lot of mature beetles. They're coming out of winter, they're alive. They tend to die off going into spring a little bit, but then summertime they come back with a vengeance. So what I got on for veil wise to see through is that new Guardian veil. I did talk to Terry. I talked to Terry the other day on the phone, and Corey emailed me back. This should be on their site pretty soon. A lot of people have been going on looking for it. It should be on their site in the next week or two. They just had a backlog. There's also some stuff going on with the other version of this that is being sold elsewhere that they're trying to work out, and as far as probably being an aftermarket dealer for them as well. So just stand by. It's there. It's coming. But if you have any questions, you really want one, go ahead and email them. Guardian Bee Supply, email them at orders@guardianbeesupply.com. orders@guardianbeesupply.com. He said that's the best email to get a hold of them. Corey is getting those, and just get with them. if you don't see it on the website yet. But yeah, I'm gonna try it out. Heat and humidity is gonna be the real test for this thing. I need about 4 frames of brood at the beginning to the middle of March to peak my bees for the main flow. And I wanna see if they're even queen right. So that's what we're looking for. How much food they got left? Are they queen right? Are they putting in brood? We saw drone brood, we know that's going in. And do they look healthy? Are they dying out on me? All right, so I've reached my first frame. Well, actually, that other one might have had eggs, but I'm seeing eggs in this one. And what I'm seeing is a very empty void of brood in the bottom box. So what it's telling me is maybe they're just all in the top. It felt heavy, but that could be a lot of brood as well. You know, if they've moved up in the winter to the top box, the bottom one will be empty. And she'll move down on her own. You don't have to reverse them. I believe it does help, but I don't do it every year. Maybe it's a good swarm control method, but I see an egg in each cell. So she's moved down, but to me, it looks like the eggs I'm seeing are right here. All right, right here. So maybe that's the bottom of her nest in the top of the box. So we're gonna open the top box. We're gonna put this one back on. I almost hate to scrape this off because I know that's where they're corralling the beetles, but I guess I can always put a trap in here. So I do think they're all in the top. I think our brood nest is in the top. The only way I want to use beetle traps this year is as I see high infestations to place them in. The ones that are keeping beetles like 2 or 3 at a time, I'm not worried about those. A few beetles here and there. I see 20 or 30. I'm definitely putting them in. Definitely got fresh nectar into this box. And that's another thing that will push her down. Oh man, y'all are getting attacked over there. Another thing that will push her down is they'll fill this with nectar and she'll go on down. That's what they want to do, is they want to put their stores on top. All right, now is a light frame. See, there's the brood. So we found the nest. So the nest is up top. This box could definitely be done, reversed. You know, now that I say that, I think I am going to reverse this box. She's got nice brood going in. Plenty of drones going in. Look at it. Nice. I'm trying to keep the smoke at a minimum so I don't run her all over the place. So another thing that's good this time of year, this is screen bottom, but it's good to get these screen bottoms cleaned out and do all that. Any solid bottoms, scrape them and clean them. The bees hate the camera. We remember that from last year. It gets worse. Right, it's worse now than it is usually in spring. Once spring hits, they calm down a little bit on it. So that's clean. I am going to reverse the boxes. I kind of thought I wouldn't since she's already moving in the bottom a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I'll make a note that I did it. So I'll put this good heavy one on there. They'll begin to bring stuff in. And what reversing the boxes is going to do for me, it's going to give me a little empty space for them up top. A little swarm control. They can plug up there. She can keep the nest going in the bottom. She's already in the bottom, so I don't have to. I'm also going to treat this thing with some of that extended release. Now, this is the first time I'm using it. You might be saying, Mike, I thought you were going to make the towels. Well, I did tell y'all that. But Foxhound Bee Supply, sorry, they gave us such a good deal at the expo. I don't know. I decided I'm going to try them. So the instructions tell me to put, for every 2.5 frames of bees, to put a strip and run them straight across. So that's what I'm going to do. That's why I've got these nitros on. Regular price, guys, and I wouldn't have bought them. They gave a great deal, so because I can make them much cheaper, and I know the sponges are pretty effective from what everybody's showing. So this box is needing 4. The top box is needing 3. This is, once again, oxalic acid. It's an organic compound. It's still a treatment. It's still a way, you know, I don't get into that argument, folks. I'm not going to get into the argument with people. Everybody has to choose what they want. I'm experimenting with this. I'm interested to see what it's going to do. So this is going to take care of this one. I think my queen is in here. I didn't ever find her, so I'm not going to wash these bees, so I won't be able to know how effective these are, but we'll check on another one to see what the effectiveness is. This one will get 3. She is up here. They still have plenty of stores. I'm always looking for stores. I want to look for queen right. I want to look for health, and health being, do I smell any sick or dying brood, any brood diseases, any deformed wing virus, lethargic, greasy bees, things of that nature. That's what I'm looking for. Health, what I say, stores, yep, all of that. Where are they laying? How is their pattern? All that good stuff. Patterns aren't always super great on all the frames this time of year, I've noticed, because sometimes they have a bad frame that still had a little bit of honey in it, but for the most part, that's the stuff I evaluate this time of year. And I want to see, I'm going to make a note, are these ready to split in another 2 weeks? And these will be. These will be. So that's our first one down. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm not going to take you through every one because it'll be all day. When I hit a week one, I'll take you through that and we'll see what we think. But the bees don't like cameras. They are camera shy this time of year. Let's smoke them in. I did see plenty of eggs, so no need to really see the queen. I saw all phases of brood. So I'm happy. I'm happy with that one. And I ain't gonna lie, I took my time on this one. It's my first one to go through in depth of the year. I've got so many bees stirred up, but I enjoyed finally going through some bees, so I took my time. I started these little sheets, and I'm gonna start noting, because see my notes, they fade off. Then I have to repaint them and all that. So I started these little cards. And then I made these all, and then I noticed it's Chuck from Jacksonville, Florida. He has cards like this, and I was like, cool. So I know I'm not I'm not on a wild goose chase. This might actually work. So I'm gonna do this. I know what queens I've got, what years they are for the most part. They're not marked. I keep them in my book. So I'm gonna mark on here what year queen, what hive this is. This thing should be ready to split in March. If not, at least pull nukes off of. So I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna put my brick on it. Okay, that's it. That's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and start zipping through some. I do want to take you through the drone layer, show you what we're gonna do with her. We got to find her and pinch her, but I want to go ahead and get into my rhythm and get moving. If I see anything crazy, I will definitely get you back on the screen, or get me back on the screen. Isn't that right? Yeah. Well, folks, I've got to show you the first queen of the year in my inspections. Although we've seen a queen, but she was a drone layer. Look at her. Now I'm gonna look and see what year she is, but she's a nice one. I'm gonna catch her and I'm gonna might watch this. This colony is only the second one I've looked at. It's loaded top to bottom. It's heavy, it's got food. Something else I look for too, folks, is configuration of the nest. And obviously I look at my drones when I scrape the drone brood, I'm looking for mites. But yeah, I'm looking also for configuration of the nest. This one, brood, top and bottom. Plenty of food in the top, gonna not reverse them. This will definitely be one of the first ones I split. So I might put a little mark by my split note and say, split soon. We wanna keep an eye on them. Oh, and obviously I'm looking for swarm cells. Y'all know that. So I'm gonna set up, catch this queen. I don't want to take any chances. Gonna get the ideal couple of frames to shake off. And we're gonna put this queen in a cage, and I'm gonna let her right back where she's at when we're done. But we're gonna cage her. And this is always a safe bet, especially when right now it's not that easy to get queens. And really, this frame, she's laying in it. So this is a good one. And then I want one with a little more open brood. So let me show you how we're going to do that. So, folks, I know I've got the queen. I'm going to go ahead and get some bees. I'm not going to smoke them. I want all these nurse bees. The flying bees will fly out after I shake them. So I'm going to shake them down. The nurse bees will stay in there. We're going to get this next frame that's got a lot of open brood on it. Yes, lots of open brood. And that gives us a good little random shot. Then I'm gonna have to kill 300 bees. And this is no different than everybody else does it. So I do look in case there is a second queen. That has happened, like I told you. Shake them all to the corner. Half a cup is what we're looking for. Put them in there. I let a few go out. Some flying bees. And that's it. So I'm gonna take this and dump it back in. But put this together. You might be saying, well, Mike, why are you just treating everything if you're not going to test everything? Because I don't want to test every single colony. And I want to get a random average, and that's why I'm only going to put the treatment on so many and see how it does. I want to test this treatment. It's new. The concept is not new, and actually there are strips in New Zealand and Argentina, but for us it's new. So I'm gonna go ahead and get them shook a little bit. This is the Dawn, 1.5 tablespoons to a gallon of water. Something Randy Oliver tried, he came out with good results. We're just gonna shake them. It does foam up a lot, but once you let it settle, it's fine. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this hive back together while they sit. I don't need to see anymore. She's laying like crazy. She's a 2024 queen, I did check. And this thing is wall to wall. So we're gonna be splitting this one soon, probably pulling nukes off of it. So we're gonna shake for a minute. I'll probably let them soak. I'll let y'all go. I'll bring you back whenever we figure out what we got in here for mites. I haven't even looked yet. You'll look when I look, and we'll see how bad we are, or how good we are, or how medium we are. So everyone, I gotta show you this frame. Of course, it's a little spotty. You know, you see that and you go, oh, well, I'm seeing pollen and some nectar in those. They'll backfill them, I'm sure. But then we flip it around. This hive and the last hive, these two colonies look the same. This is what they're looking like, except for this one has more food in the top. It's definitely heavy. I think I'm seeing where all the bees are gathered. I'm thinking that's all brood, but the rest is honey. This thing is packed. It's ready to split. That one's ready to split next to it. That one could go an extra week, but I'll still split it. And what I'll do with these splits is I'll take brood off of these two colonies for nukes as well. Make up some nukes. It could be split right now, but I don't have any cells. I plan to have cells next week in the next 7 to 10 days. There's 2 commercial guys that are gonna have cells ready. And they've always got good bees, so I'm gonna be getting some cells from them. So definitely wanted to show you that. Let's look at the, oh, there's the queen right there. Here's our second queen of the day. Perfect, figured she'd be on this frame. I wanna shake it and do a mite count on her. I'm gonna get her off of there, lay her right there. And this is the one we're gonna shake. So shake that one and one that's covered in brood next. Let's see what we got in the other one. I've shake it, and I think, let's look, I think, oh yeah. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4 mites in there. It's not terrible. So we're gonna write down 4 mites, and then we're gonna check it again when we pull the strips. And I'm gonna do this one next. One more, that way we get a good random number off of a couple frames. And my goal is not to do a bunch of mite counts again. I'm gonna treat with this stuff on random colonies. We're gonna see what happens with them when we re-inspect them and get ready to split them. These will be off by the time we start working with honey, even though they're loud. I don't wanna do anything in my boxes when I've got honey supers on. It's just me. Dump these back in. That's a very populated colony. It's gonna need splitting really quick. So next week, we'll be doing splits, folks. Let me shake this, get it going, and get these bees soaking a little bit to break those off, break those mites off. Let's let our queen go. I like to put her next, there she goes. Right down she went, perfect. I guess I should do a control, really. That's what I might do. If this one's got similar mites, I just do a control, and I might see what it does, what the difference is. Now, it's not a perfect experiment because we don't know the varieties and all that of the bees, whether they have the traits or not, but it's something to look at. I think I see 1, as far as mites, 2, a little bit of debris, but I see 2 mites. So that's similar, and I did not put strips back in it. So what I want to do is the populations are very similar. What I want to look at is in the 50 days or whatever it costs to leave them in, I want to see what happens. I want to see if that one grows or reduces or holds the same, and I want to see if this one grows. It's not a super scientific experiment, but it is at least a control and a non-control, and we'll see where we're at the end of the treatment phase, and that's what we'll do. And I'll do one more over there that I'm just going to test and treat, and I'm going to put strips on the majority of these, and then I'm going to go over there and skip a few, and we're going to see what happens. But let's look at this colony. I told you I'd take you through one that might be weak. I think this one could possibly be weak. Again, not a lot of high hope for this one. All right, there's a pollen, bee bread, so that's our edge. A lot of light green pollen in the last week or so. The light yellow was red maple. That's done. This is a full pollen frame. I am seeing a lot of pollen, folks. That's good. These are bringing in pollen, so they're probably starting to brood up good, but I don't have high hopes for population. There's a brood, not the best looking pattern. So they are starting to brood up. That's good. This was a very, very strong, great honey producer. Yeah, very spotty. She's very spotty. Gonna keep an eye on her. She might be a requeen. Yeah, very much not a pretty queen, but I don't see foul brood. When I see this early on like this, I want to look and see if it's foul brood. I don't see any bad larvae, so that's good, and it smells good. It smells normal. Pattern, not the greatest. So, oh goodness, they're getting on y'all. Sorry about that. Take that fuzzy off of that microphone, help y'all out some. They hate that fuzzy thing. I'd say the population's not the greatest, but it's not bad. It's medium, run in the middle of the road. Brood is spotty. That's what we're going to put down for that. It's definitely light in stores, but they should be grabbing into some nectar soon. But in 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, if she's not putting in a good brood pattern, she might need to be replaced. Well, she will need to. That's 1 week one so far. Basically, I think she's got the bottom of her nest cupped out in here. Here's some pollen frames, so we're kind of at the edge of a nest. Yeah, there's some brood. Nectar going in, not much. Same on this side. So I think what we're seeing here is the bottom of the nest up top. Gotta keep an eye on this one. So this one's definitely weak, definitely not a splitter. Got to remedy this queen, probably a requeening. So this colony here is not in good shape. Light, bad population, spotty pattern. All the signs of just a inferior queen at this point. But we're not going to be able to remedy it now. This is just an assessment, so I'm going to mark her as inferior. Something else I am doing, folks, is my probiotics. They lost 2 months of this because I didn't open them in December and January. So I'm still at it, folks. I found one other weak one. Y'all see my pin? I was wondering if y'all seen my pin. This is my pin for my suit. Stan Gore gave me that. Texas Friendly Beekeepers. But I'm still at it. I'm fine. I found another weak one. And the funny thing is, the one I showed you, it was a bad queen. And the next weak one, I went and looked at my little yellow paper as I'm filling out what queen they were. They were 2022 queens. So there you go. Queens are starting to fail from 2022. Those two will definitely get requeened. This one is a little mean, has been mean in the past, but I'm only finding about 2 or 3 like this. The rest are just average, 6, 8 frame hives. Now this colony is light, so they're up at the top with the honey, which it's good and heavy at the top, but I'm sure there's plenty of brood in there. And I'm basically treating everybody with those strips except for the one control. That's where I'm at. I'm still rolling. Bees are flying. Bees are getting after it. All the bees are going. They're just flying, taking off, moving, shaking, buzzing, stinging. Nah, the bees have not been stingy today at all. Not at all. Usually this time of year, they're just rough, but they seem to be really on the nectar or the pollen. But there's not a lot of nectar in the colonies that I'm seeing. I'm guessing residual. I'm just guessing residual red maple maybe, but I don't know. The red maple is pretty much finished, so there's it's not a whole lot of nectar, but that's about right for this time. My bees aren't huge because I just don't feed them a lot. I let them rely on the natural stuff that we can. I'll feed them if I have to. Fondant if I have to, things like that. But for the most part, they're growing as the nectar flow and the pollen flow is going to dictate. Well, everyone, I decided I need to go ahead and split that colony. That thing is huge. I went through the bottom and it was packed. Packed, I tell you, packed. So what I'm going to do, I put some Hive Alive on it. It's the only fondant I got left, a few packs of that, but they're still pretty light. I'm not seeing a lot of nectar coming in. So what I'm going to do is fondant both ends and I'm going to split it. Show you how I'm going to split it, because I don't have any queens right now, so it's going to be a walk away. And we still got cold weather, so it's going to be a double screen. And I'll show you just how easy it is. I'm not hunting the queen. I've been through almost all those frames. So I gave them their probiotics, their treatments, and said, you know what? After putting that fondant patty on, I'm going to split them. Next week I'll come in, and it'll equal out the same as far as cells. because they'll make cells now. By the time I get cells, they'll be about the same age, so we'll just let them make their own queen. This is a good queen, very good queen. A little spicy. This is a spicy nest, but good queen. So let me show you how quick this double screen divider is. And what this is going to do is we're still in the 30s and 40s every morning. This is going to be great for preserving them as far as heat. Watch. Look at that. Look at the bees on this thing. Get them stirred up good because that makes it more adventurous. It's already been loosed, so this thing is packed. It could probably wait till next week. It can wait a week actually, but I want to do it now. So I have a double screen divider board. This is the way I make mine. Number 8 hardware cloth. I take a piece of wood, I cut out 2 rectangles, as you can see. I put the hardware cloth on both sides. It's 3/4 inch. I run a 3/4 inch shim all the way around to one side with the entrance. Face the entrance to the back. Actually, I want to put some fondant on these bees. They're growing so fast, there's a lot of brood. I don't want to starve them of their nutrients that they need. We're going to stick this right here. Take this double screen, face the entrance backwards. Take this box, put it on top. Alrighty. Put the lid on. Alright. There we go. It's just that easy, folks. Come back in 7 days and I'll figure out which box the queen's in. And I might move this queen off because she grows so fast. I'll stick a second deep on there, let them build it out while they make a queen in the bottom. And so if the queen cells are up top, I'll flip-flop the boxes. If not, I'll just move the queen. That's it. That's easy. Alrighty, we are over here at our problem hive. This is our colony that's a drone laying queen. I'm going to go ahead and take care of this now. I've gotten through about 2/3 of my colonies. I'm pretty pleased so far. Not all super strong, but a lot of decent colonies. Obviously one we had to split. So here the goal with this one though is to go combine it. Gonna have to find this queen. We're gonna pinch her. Once I find her, we'll pinch her. I will save you those gory details. More just drone, all drone. No worker brood. Again, same on this side. Yeah, you can go through all the other colonies. You can see where they're absolutely throwing in brood left and right. If she was any good, she obviously would have already had plenty of worker brood in here. She's definitely going to town putting in drones, though. She thinks she's laying something worthwhile. Ah, she's hanging out. I see her on the corner. She's hiding from me. I just spotted her tail. There she is. Ah, she's shooting back and forth. She's on the run. Okay. So that's our drone layer. I will not give you the gory details, but she has to go. And she is gone. So what we're going to do with this now, put it back together and move it. So what we'll be doing, folks, is a newspaper combine. Really simple, old-fashioned. I know you don't have to combine with newspaper nowadays and all that, but we are dealing with laying workers. I did spot the queen in here when I prepped it. I got my probiotics and my strips in. I went through it and inspected it so that that's done. I don't have to open it for another week, a week or two. It is packed with brood. It's really blowing up good. I'm going to get everybody off the lid because this is our new lid. Stir them all up. That's good. That's what we want, right? No, what we want to do is cover them now with newspaper. Now, because it had a drone layer in it, they had a queen. So they're kind of like a queen right colony, so I'm gonna do a combine instead of shake them out the way I do laying workers. We're gonna put that there. I'm not even gonna cut slits in it. We're gonna take this box, I'm walking over with it now. I'm just gonna stick it right on here. Just about got it. And we're gonna make them chew through and get used to each other. These flying bees will go back to their location. They'll join the colony next door. All will be well. I'm gonna give them a couple of these strips. We're gonna put 3 because there's not that many bees. So we've lost a few, but it'll be all right. That colony needed it. They needed the space. They didn't necessarily need the bees, they needed the space. So we gave them the space. That's what we wanted. So, well, everyone, what a day. It was a long day. Gotta get my back into shape. Bending over on colonies and moving boxes and such. Been a while since I just went through colony after colony after colony, but I took my time. I enjoyed it. It was a good day in the bees. Found 2 or 3 real sketchy. Really 2 that are real sketchy, and about 3 or 4 that were a little below what I'd like them to be below, but in the end, they'll be fine. I mean, they had good brood patterns in there, so the queen was building up. They're just going to be behind, so we won't split them. We'll easily just build those up and peek them out. And if they get too big, because here's the deal, we have such a long time before we really get into a flow. Even if the privet comes, we're fighting swarming for the next 2.5 months. So if they don't get split, then later on the road, down the road, I'll just have to pull brood and make nukes. And I'll sell late May nukes like I usually do. Those are just excesses to kind of get me out of the excess bees. But at the same time, I can always keep a few over winter, and that's what I do. Did find 1 dead out. It was this colony right there, number 3 there. I'm not even sure what happened to it. Didn't even look at the history on it, but I'm gonna have to stack that out and save the comb. It's been recently robbed, so it hasn't been long that it's been robbed out, but we'll get that thing put up. And then that single right there is booming. The single we just put the drone laying colony on, the drone laying queen that we pinched, that one's booming. I got another single I want to look at, see how they're doing. And the singles, what I'll do with those is that one will get a box with a lot of foundation and maybe 2 or 3 drawn combs, and I maybe pull one up to seed it, and that'll help them build out really quick. I don't feed my bees, so I don't have massive colonies. The few I do have that are massive, I kind of get nervous with those because I want to peak mine out, and I don't need them so big and gigantic in March because we got weeks to go. So I'm okay with the size nests. I was finding 7, 8 frames of bees in the bottom, maybe a lot of honey in the top, 2 or 3 frames of brood in the top, things like that. Some of them were booming. The one was booming, we split it. I'll go back in 7 days, and my thinking on that was, shoot, if I was to wait to split it, it'd probably wait. Then I'm gonna put a cell in it. Well, the cell would be about the same age as if I just split it now and let them make one. And so who knows, I might try some of those cages from Robert Peebles and take a few of those cells that they make and cage them so that later down the road I'll have some queens from it, because that's a booming colony and a great queen. The ones that were very, very weak that I did find that need requeening with bad patterns, 2022 queens. There you go. Now, I did find 2 2021 queens that were outstanding. So, hey, it's kind of a crapshoot, but anyway, bees are looking pretty good. Found the 1 dead out, found a couple really weak ones. Gonna get them squared away with new queens when we do, and everybody else is looking good for the most part. Still have about 7 to go over there, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 10 colonies left here, another 6 back in town to go through. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hey, we're back in the bees. The season is on, we're on. Down here in the South, we are moving. We're getting ready to do splits. So, hey, hope you enjoyed it. It's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I'm doing bees again. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week, and may God bless you. We'll see y'all later.